Hey, good morning, guys. I want to talk about the jobs in the Matrix that I couldn't do for various reasons, But yeah, so this is like kind of like a list, I guess. I have a few jobs in my mind that I'm thinking about. So number one is a truck driver, or like any kind of like driver, any kind of driving job, any kind of like delivery, or where you're driving and you're on the road a lot. DoorDash or Uber or whatever. I can do any of those jobs. I hate driving, man. Just in general. Like, I mean, the thing is, I did it before. Like, I would drive around to all the students' houses when I taught them lessons, and I did a lot of driving. Even when I worked for Sherwin-Williams, I drove around and delivered paint, and stuff with them, and I've done that. I've done those kind of jobs. But in general, like, I haven't even driven in the last few years anyways, and I don't really even want to. Like, I think I just was done with driving. Like, I'm going to either walk or take the bus, or I'm going to use a Waymo, or I guess an Uber. But then I kind of feel bad because of, like, it's like someone else is driving. I'm like, oh, man, But I guess they don't mind if they do this. Some people don't mind doing driving jobs and stuff. But I really don't like being on the road. I don't like dealing with traffic, and I just all this stop and go of the lights, and it just gets on my nerves. I just don't want to do it. I have to live in some kind of walking area or just use Waymos. Cause yeah, I'm just done driving. So yeah, that's number one. So number two is a school teacher. That's a job in the Matrix that I couldn't do. And like, I taught one-on-one and stuff. I was never like a school teacher, but like people would tell me to like be to do that job and stuff. And like, I couldn't teach like 30 kids, in a classroom and stuff. And, I'm too like laid back and stuff. I don't want to like, they'd walk all over me and I taught this like little percussion class at this little center for a little. It had like 3 or 4 kids in it, and like I couldn't even run that class. Like one of the parents got all mad at me one time because we were just running around doing, I was like being a kid with them. So yeah, I get and in general, like, I mean, I'm like I can teach as far as like pass on knowledge and stuff, but yeah, and in general too, like, I think teachers like need to make a lot more money. Like that's a hard job. And I have like things about it where I'm like, I'd have a hard time like preparing kids for like the real world and the Matrix and stuff when I don't really even agree with the Matrix. Like fundamentally I'd be like, how am I like I'm teaching them to like grow up into a system that I don't even, like I'm playing a part in the system. Like, how do I, I'm total nonconformist. I think you can't really be a school teacher because you're trying to prepare kids for the world. I would try to, get them to rebel or something, right? Right? It doesn't really like make sense. And also, like, how come there aren't like a lot of like people from the upper class that are teachers and stuff? Like, maybe they're like, a couple of them are like in private schools, but like in general in public schools, it's like usually people who like need a job that are teachers, and like from the lower and middle classes and stuff. And like, I always wonder about that. Like, I don't know, it's like, shouldn't the ones that are like in the upper class be like helping like shouldn't they be the ones like teaching? I don't know, it's like, seems like that they should be like helping the poor, like going into the public schools in the tough neighborhoods, and like maybe some of them do, but anyways, yeah. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be a corrections officer at a jail or like a prison, or almost like any kind of security guard, in a sense. That kind of fundamentally, like, I have a hard time with that. Like, especially when I went to jail, it's like all the corrections officers are like working class people too. Like they're like poor, and or like someone who needs a job and stuff. Like, maybe they get paid pretty good, but they're kind of like, there's nobody from like the upper class. Like, it's like, shouldn't it be like the upper class people like controlling the jails and stuff? Because it's like they hire poor people to like protect the poor. Like, the people in jail are poor mostly, and then the people working there, they're like they're like working for like the rich kind of, but like they're like poor, like I don't know, it's just, like fundamentally I have, it's kind of it's weird, like I couldn't do that job because I'd be like, I don't agree with it, like so like this is what I'm talking about, being in the matrix. Like I can't do these jobs in the matrix because of my brain. Like I couldn't fake it, like just for the paycheck and stuff, that's why I kind of I'm just like, why are you doing like this? But it's like, I know it's like people will do it because it pays, like we need to survive and stuff. And so but like I think this is where the system's like kind of wild, how it like, and even like police officers and stuff, a lot of those are people that need a job. They're not maybe not all the time from the upper class and stuff, these are people that need a job, they need a paycheck to they're so, but they're like protecting the rich and stuff, right? Going, if a poor person goes into a rich person's neighborhood, a police officer who's from the middle class comes and protects those rich people. Like, it's gotta like fundamentally, like when you really think about it, you're like, what are we doing here? Like, like just because you need a job, and like, do you really agree with this job, and do you think that like that's good to like just be able to protect people when these people are maybe just struggling, or right, like I don't know, it seems like you're going against your own people or something, like so yeah, that's one of them. And then number 4 is like a plumber, like, so like, or like, so like here's the thing, is that my family is a plumbing family. Like my dad is a plumber and built up his business and stuff, and now my brother like runs the company, and there's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, I don't look down on it or anything, but just in general, like what I was trying to think about, like just I feel like that I want to like go into like that the whole idea of like just like that's the family business, like the family business is plumbing, I'm born into that, and so I'm supposed to continue that on with generations, and like so fundamentally I feel like that's I don't just accept it, that like that's where my family's place is in life, is to be in this, like shouldn't I, like I want to get out of that and stuff, right? Like I want to move up, like so it's and also I really don't have good mechanical skills and stuff in general. Like I'm not really, I mean, I don't know, I could probably do a lot of those jobs, I could learn it and stuff, trades, but yeah, it just seems like it's it's not like we're not getting anywhere, like that's, I don't know, it just seems like that kind of thing to where I don't want to just I feel like we could do better, so, I don't want to just accept. And I feel like there's sometimes some families and stuff, they just maybe the dad's an AC guy, and so he teaches his kid the trade, and then I think almost like America kind of like glorifies this kind of family business thing a little bit, but it's like I don't know, like is that so we want everybody to stay in the same jobs and the same careers, like with their kids passing down like that's weird. Like don't you want to do something different, or like or move up into something that's like I don't know, less shitty but yeah, I know it's I don't know if that I'm very like clear on that, if that like made much sense, but if you follow me, if it makes sense to you, then it makes sense. So yeah, those are a few jobs that in the matrix that I couldn't do, but we'll figure something else out, because there's lots of good jobs in the matrix still. There's that I would agree with, and I would feel like that it's like it doesn't go against my fundamental principles of how I want to live, but yeah, it's like, anyways, I think that was a pretty good video overall. So yeah, I did it in the parking lot, even with the security guys. I didn't get in trouble. With the car sitters, I got away with it. Someone will tell on me soon. I'll get me in trouble. You can't really just walk around anywhere in America anymore. No, everywhere's got a security guard. All right, guys, have a good one.